God moments in my life started when I was 6 months old. My mother was woken up in the middle of the night with a terrible feeling. She went upstairs to find me. I wasn't breathing. I was blue in the face. She rushed me to the hospital. She was trying to get me to breathe the whole time. She was just crying, sobbing. All of a sudden, I came back to life. I started breathing again. I got to the emergency room. The doctor said everything was fine. My mom answered, "What? You mean after all that, everything is fine?" Another occasion, an angel put my car back on the road after I about hit a telephone pole. Now, I was driving too fast for conditions. My car began to fishtail. I got traction. I started going straight for a telephone pole. My friend and I closed our eyes as my car was in the ditch, a second away from hitting the telephone pole. Now, when we opened our eyes, my car came to a slow halt in the middle of the road. Completely dumbfounded, we got out of the car, walked around to the front, started analyzing what had just happened. My friend, who was an atheist, said, "Surely an angel put us back on the road. This is impossible. When I closed my eyes, your car was in the ditch." I literally left my eyes open until the exact moment I thought we were going to hit the pole. God stepped up again and saved my life. Another instance, a couple years later, I was studying abroad in France. We had a class trip. We were going skiing in the Alps near Nice. I was a novice snowboarder. I thought I was better than I was. I wiped out, my edge caught, my face just slammed the snow. My nose started bleeding. I did the whole pinch and tilt thing. Usually I can get it to stop after about a minute. 10 minutes went by before I could get it to stop. Not thinking too much of it. It went on, had a great trip, got back to Paris, had some sinus pain. Then 3 days later, it was a Monday, my eyelid was full of fluid. I couldn't open my eye. I had immense pain, throbbing, coursing through my head. Got to the hospital, x-rays showed my eye was pushed a half-inch out of socket. It was a very rare sinus infection. They talked about doing surgery. What they did do was take these long tweezers with a cotton ball, dipped it in some solution that's supposed to dry up the infection. Now, they went up my nose, and they didn't seem to stop. After about 4 or 6 inches, my good eye, got really big. I'm thinking to myself, what are they trying to do? Tickle my brain here? I didn't do too much. On Thursday, I had a bump on the side of my head. They called my mom, said, "You need to get an emergency passport. You need to come see your kid." Friday morning, though, after a week of being in the hospital, I woke up, I had energy, my eye could be opened up a little bit, the swelling went down. Every doctor in the hospital came into my room asking my doctors, "What did you do? How did you do this?" They said, "We did nothing." That you did something, look at him. I was proficient enough in French to understand what they were saying. I didn't put two and two together. I was just so excited to see my sister and my cousin were coming to visit me that Sunday. I told them I'd be walking out on Sunday. The doctors laughed at me earlier in the week, saying, "You'd be here till at least next Wednesday." I walked out of there 2 hours after they arrived on Sunday. After they left and went back home, the host family, the people I rented my apartment from, had me over for dinner. The husband said, "Do you know what happened? Do you realize what happened?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "On Thursday, they gave up on you. The infection was spreading. That bump on the side of your head was infection going to hit your brain. And as soon as it hit your brain, it's going to kill you. They gave up on you and said you're dead. So he called your mom. They wanted her to come pick up your dead body and take you back to the States." That's why they called her on that Thursday. And I was taken back a little bit. I didn't think too much of it again. Guess I was a little dense. But I didn't realize that, these situations, God was showing up and showing me He loved me. And it was hard for me to realize that because I grew up fatherless. My dad left when I was 3. I lived life, through anger, pain was all I knew. God is trying to show me something. I'd often wondered after that, well, God, why did you save my life? What purpose is there for my life? What can I do? How can I help people? I'd often cry out to Him and ask Him that question. Now, at age 37, He would use one of the most impactful events in my life to really show me this and bring me into a new season. It was my divorce. Now, at 37, all my friends got married and had kids. Not having a dad in my life, I wanted to love someone so bad, and I wanted to be loved. So I looked for a strong Christian woman to date. I found someone who said everything I wanted to hear. online. We started dating. I ignored the red flags. My heart was all in. I was, okay, this is who she said she was. I wanted to believe it so bad. I was just all in. All right, I put up with abuse in every sense of the word. You can never understand what I went through. The police would show up, the condo neighbors would call the police often, and she would yell and get very vocal. I would hide the bruises. I would hide the cuts. I would cover for her when they'd show up sometimes. If she didn't get my phone, as soon as someone texted me in the car, make sure it wasn't some girl or somebody texting me, she would get very upset. She grabbed the steering wheel on 3 occasions, almost got us into 3 head-on collisions. I just didn't understand it. She didn't seem to have any care for life, hers or anyone else's. But the breaking point was when she told me she was going to hit herself again and tell the police I did it. I said, no one's going to stop me from serving my God. No one's going to keep me from working with kids. No one's going to keep me from volunteering, from going on mission trips. So I talked to my family and told my sister I got to get out. She threatened to put me in jail. She already threw her phone, whipped me, hit me in the face, put me in the hospital. My eye was completely blood red. I thought I'd never be able to see out of the eye again. And then after I left, immense heartache was about the only thing I knew for about 6 months. I didn't know why I should continue living. My heart was completely and utterly crushed. But God showed up again. He allowed me to divorce her after she told me that she was unfaithful and she'd never tell me how many times. During that season, I cried out to God. I said, God, your word says that you're with the brokenhearted. Now, I don't recommend, challenging God. That's not something you're supposed to do. But in that moment, I was so hurt, and I needed him. So I asked him to show me. Your word says that you're with the brokenhearted. I'm brokenhearted to my core. I need you. Where are you? I didn't hear anything. I was hoping, the Lord would just show up in front of me in his glory or something like that. I went over to my phone. I received a text message. There's a guy I was in a Bible study with. He said, hey, man, how you doing? I said, not good, man, not good. I'm hurting. He's like, you gotta suck it up. It's not something you can swipe off your slate. He's kind of like me, just straight up. He's gonna tell you how it is. I didn't really appreciate the tough love, but I talked to him in the next Bible study, and he said, normally I'd never do something like that. Normally, that's not who I am. That's not how, I do things. I just felt really compelled to reach out to you, so God showed up again. I never blamed God for that marriage and that tough divorce. But I thank him for using it to open my eyes. During that season, I wanted to learn what makes people do things that they do. Why do they stay with someone who treated me so bad? Normally, I'd leave. 6 times I tried to leave. I let her coax me into coming back to her. So I wanted to learn why. And so I began a relentless pursuit for knowledge and understanding. And then in 2018, I was praying with someone at church, and she got a vision of a pencil. Oh, crap, I thought in my heart. He wants me to write this book. I thought about it 10 years earlier. I just kind of pushed it off. Who am I to write a book, whatever. In my heart, I knew I had to do this thing. I knew it was going to bring back a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, fatherlessness, all this stuff, the pain of the divorce. I began crying. So I went through with it. It took me 2.5 years. I knew that God was going to use it to help a lot of people. I called it The Hunt for Healing, based on my life story and all the things I went through. It's available on Amazon. And he also kind of put it on my heart to kind of change my career. All the things, all the learning I went through. He showed me I could help people and that purpose I longed for. And I asked him to show me what I'm supposed to do in life. I decided to become a life coach. So it's with great pleasure that I help people go through life and achieve greatness. And so today, as I start a new season, I live trusting in God and blessed assurance that he is with me. I pray that you be reminded of God moments in your life and know that he is with you too, and that he loves you so much.